Could you imagine what happens when a calm morning broadcast suddenly drifts into dangerous territory? When smiles stay frozen, cameras keep rolling, and something unspoken begins to crack beneath the studio lights. In this video, we step inside a cinematic recreation of a live television moment that slowly unravels, where a casual interview turns into a collision of egos, respect, and live broadcast pressure no one can pause. The studio lights are warm, almost comforting. The Good Morning America set glows in soft blues and ambers, the city skyline pulsing behind glass panels as New York wakes up. The audience claps on cue, polite, rhythmic, safe. The band fades out. Cameras glide into position. Michael Strahan sits relaxed, jacket buttoned, posture open, smile broadcast ready. He leans forward slightly as the next guest is introduced. The teleprompter scrolls smoothly. Everything is clean, controlled. Samuel L. Jackson steps onto the set. The applause hits louder now. Real applause. The kind that carries weight. Jackson nods once, slow, deliberate. His sunglasses catch the studio lights before he removes them, folding them carefully, placing them on the table like a man setting down a warning rather than an accessory. Michael rises. Handshake firm, friendly. Samuel L. Jackson, everybody. Jackson grips his hand, eyes sharp, voice calm. Good morning? They sit. The camera cuts to a two-shot. Lower thirds fade in. Social media feeds light up instantly. Michael laughs lightly. Always good to have you here. You bring energy every single time. Jackson smiles, but it doesn't quite reach his eyes. I try. A beat. Harmless. So far. Michael glances down at his cards. So you've got a new project coming out? Big cast? Big expectations? Jackson nods. Yes, sir. And some people are calling it a return to form. Michael continues. Others are saying it's, well, let's say, familiar territory. The word hangs. Jackson tilts his head slightly. Familiar how? Michael chuckles, attempting warmth. You know, the intensity, the language, He gestures vaguely. The Samuel L. Jackson-ness of it all. A few laughs ripple through the audience. Jackson's smile tightens. He leans back, crossing his arms. You saying that like it's a problem? Michael raises both hands. Not at all. Just what people are saying. Jackson looks directly into the camera for half a second. The control room notices. A producer shifts in their chair. People say a lot of things, Jackson says evenly. Usually when they haven't done the work. Michael nods quickly. Fair point, but critics don't make movies, Jackson cuts in. His tone is still measured, but something underneath it sharpens. Artists do. The audience grows quiet. The band doesn't play. The silence stretches just long enough to feel intentional. Michael smiles again, but it's thinner now. Of course. But when you've played such iconic roles, do you ever worry about being boxed in? Jackson exhales through his nose, a sound that's almost a laugh. Let me ask you something, Michael, he says. Do you worry about being boxed in as the football guy who smiles real good on TV? A murmur ripples through the crowd. Michael blinks. Once. He laughs, quick and defensive. I've heard worse. Jackson nods. So have I. The camera cuts to a close-up of Michael. His jaw tightens for a fraction of a second before he recovers. I'm just saying, Michael continues. Some viewers feel like they know what they're getting with you before the movie even starts. Jackson leans forward now, elbows on the table. His voice drops, calmer than before, which somehow makes it heavier. And that bothers you? Michael hesitates. The teleprompter scrolls ahead, but he doesn't look at it. No, he says. It's a conversation. Jackson nods slowly. Then let's have one. The control room tenses. A producer raises a finger. Another shakes their head. No cut yet. Because what I hear, Jackson continues, is a man who's never had to fight to define himself, asking another man why he hasn't changed enough to make others comfortable. The audience gasps softly. Someone lets out a nervous laugh that dies immediately. Michael shifts in his chair. "That's not what I meant." "But that's what you said," Jackson replies. Michael leans forward now too. "With respect, Samuel, this is a morning show. We're keeping it light." Jackson's eyes narrow. "Then don't bring heavy questions." A beat. The tension is no longer subtle. It's visible, palpable. Even the studio lights feel harsher now. Michael straightens his cards. "You're taking this personally." Jackson nods once. "Because it is." Silence. The camera cuts wide. Audience members exchange looks. The bandleader glances toward the producer booth. Michael clears his throat. "All right, let's reset." Jackson doesn't move. "Your fans," Michael continues carefully, "love you, they quote you, they expect a certain style." Jackson interrupts softly. "Say stereotype. That's the word you're dancing around." Michael stiffens. "I didn't say that." "No," Jackson says. "You implied it." Michael's smile is gone now. "I think you're reading into this." Jackson sits back, folds his hands. "I think you're uncomfortable being called out." A producer whispers urgently into a headset. "Cut to commercial. Cut to—" The director hesitates. Ratings are spiking. Twitter is on fire. Michael exhales. "Samuel, nobody's attacking you." Jackson looks at him for a long moment. Then he laughs. Not loud, not angry, just tired. "Man," he says, shaking his head. "You don't even hear it, do you?" Michael frowns. "Hear what?" "The way you talk about me like I'm a product," Jackson says. "Like I came off an assembly line labeled attitude and volume." Michael's voice hardens slightly. "I'm talking about your brand." Jackson's eyes flash. "I don't have a brand. I have a body of work." The audience applauds, hesitant at first, then stronger. Michael raises a hand. Okay. Jackson stands. The applause dies instantly. Michael looks up. "Samuel?" Jackson adjusts his jacket. "Nah, you wanted a conversation. You got one." Michael forces a smile. "We still have time." Jackson looks around the studio. The cameras, the audience, the lights. Then back to Michael. "Time for what?" he asks. "Another polite way to ask why I'm still me?" Michael opens his mouth, closes it. Jackson picks up his sunglasses. "I've been doing this for 40 years, he says. "I've earned the right not to be dissected before breakfast." Michael stands now too. "Nobody meant disrespect." Jackson meets his eyes. "Disrespect doesn't need permission." A long beat. The director finally shouts, "Commercial, now!" The band scrambles into sound. The screen fades toward break. But Jackson doesn't wait. He turns, walking off the set, footsteps echoing softly against the studio floor as the cameras struggle to reframe. Michael watches him go, frozen between professionalism and disbelief. As the applause sign flickers uncertainly, the audience doesn't know whether to clap or stay silent. And somewhere off camera, a producer whispers, almost to themselves, "We just lost him." Steady but tight. "We're back." The audience claps, uncertain, scattered. A few hands stop mid-applause. Michael nods slowly, as if absorbing the room. "We're going to take a breath here." The control room is chaos. Headsets crackle. A producer leans toward a monitor. Another frantically scrolls social media feeds, lighting up faster than they can read. "Camera 2, stay wide. Don't push in yet." Michael glances off camera, just slightly, like he's checking whether Samuel might come back. He doesn't. "So," Michael continues, "sometimes live television brings out strong conversations." A few nervous chuckles ripple through the audience. Michael clears his throat. "We respect all our guests here." The words sound rehearsed. They probably are. The director finally signals for a tighter shot. The camera moves in slowly, almost apologetically. Michael's eyes flicker. He looks down at the table, then back up. "We're gonna move on," he says. But the silence doesn't move. In the hallway beyond the set, Samuel L. Jackson walks with long, deliberate strides. A staffer jogs to catch up, holding a clipboard like a shield. "Mr. Jackson, Samuel, can we just talk for a second?" Jackson doesn't slow. Talk was the problem. Another producer steps in front of him carefully, hands open. "We didn't mean for it to go that way." Jackson stops. The sudden halt almost sends the staffer into him. "Listen to me," Jackson says, voice low, controlled. "Live TV don't scare me. Disrespect does." The producer nods quickly. "Michael didn't intend." "Intent don't change impact," Jackson cuts in. A security guard watches from a distance, unsure if he's needed. Jackson exhales. He rubs his temple. The adrenaline hasn't worn off yet. It's still buzzing under his skin. "I showed up to talk about work," he says, "not to explain my existence." The producer swallows. "Would you consider coming back on, just to smooth it out?" Jackson laughs, sharp and humorless. "Smooth it out for who?" Back in the studio, Michael shifts in his chair again. The teleprompter rolls, but he ignores it. "We're gonna bring you the headlines," he says. The band plays softly. Too softly. The camera cuts to B-roll graphics, but Michael's reflection lingers faintly on the desk glass. Jaw tight, eyes distant. In the control room, someone mutters, "This is already trending." Another voice replies, "#1. Cut back to the hallway. Jackson slips his sunglasses on, pausing as another familiar voice calls out. "Sam?" He turns. It's a senior producer now, older, calmer, someone who's been doing this long enough to know when not to raise their voice. "You good?" the producer asks. Jackson nods once. "I will be."